While we're waiting for more people to come on, why don't you let us know where you're watching us from? That would be really cool to find out. Hi, everyone. Just let us know where you're tuning in from. We would love to know. And all your comments when you connect with us on Facebook or Instagram Live, we do respond. So just know uh, that your responses or your questions are not going unanswered. Um, I'm Robin, and this is Michael.
Hello.
And I figure after doing this since January, most of you know who we are. So we're going to do away with the intro just to let you do know that we're very knowledgeable in the various Vedic sciences, and we've gathered a lot of information from our personal experiences, as well over the years of being students and then teachers and researchers and scholars and award-winning authors in the field of Vastu Shastra, which is the science of living in harmony with nature. And I've also done extensive study for many, many years into working with the energies of the divine feminine or the divine mother. So our work is kind of eclectic, but I think it really will offer you a lot of new tools and techniques and up your energy for the week to come. Right now, we're all in this process of reemerging from kind of an inner retreat, both inner retreat within ourselves and within our homes. We're starting to branch out into the world more and more, and I think everybody is feeling a little bit more comfortable with being around other people, and so we're going through this period of rebirth, and April is the month of rebirth, and so we're realigning who we used to be. I think we used to be in a very different energy, and now we're coming more from an energy of love and desiring for connection instead of this kind of motivated by what we want and what we need to do. And connection is really a theme coming into this period that we're moving into. And that energy is much more feminine, less anxiety producing if we allow it. And so there's much more creativity and the willingness to accept ourselves and each other. And so we're retraining our nervous systems to align with this new kind of feeling. And I don't know about you, but I would really like to know how many of you felt last week was absolutely crazy. I personally, I've been recovering from a little surgery, and it was a rough week for me. And I think communication, and especially anything to do with the computer last week, it felt almost like a retrograde month or week. And I think a lot of people I've talked to are also having issues with their computers or communicating with other people. I don't think I was alone, but it was a rough one for me. So to begin, Michael is going to do the astrology for the week. And then we're going to move into, we're going to reactivate the altar and then do some mantras and, keep it a little bit shorter so that everybody can get on with their day, hopefully.
So the planetary placements are right in line with what you just said. So that yesterday was the new moon, and it was in the very last degrees of Pisces, almost moving into Aries. And so this is a very special new moon. Every year at the same time, this particular new moon marks the beginning of a Vedic New Year. And so astrologers make a chart based on where the planets are yesterday, basically, for the new moon, and apply that to different countries in the world to predict what's going to happen for this upcoming year. And so it is a very special time. Now, not only is it special in that way, it marks the beginning of Navaratri. Nava means 9. It is the 9 days of Mother Divine. And so there's this huge amount of divine feminine energy on the planet, and it's really important for us to utilize that energy, pay attention to our intuition, pay attention to opportunities that may arise for new beginnings during this period. And it's really a time where it's all about letting go of the past, anything that holds us back from being who we truly are and what our purpose, aligning our purpose of why we came on this planet. So a little extra meditation during this time. We're going to be doing some chanting, but it's good for you to be doing some chanting on your own. We've taught you lots of mantras. All of them would be good during this time. On April 16th, that's one of the days of Mother Divine. It's especially to honor Lakshmi and bring in that abundant feminine energy. So especially on that day, you can chant that Lakshmi yantra. We're going to do it today so that you can relearn it. But yeah, letting go of self-doubt, fear, confusion, all of this stuff that from the COVID, we're starting to move from darkness into light. Last week, we told a story about how Vishnu got the demons and the gods together to work together to bring back Lakshmi, and that kind of bring up Dhanvantri, who would help have the cure for basically the poison that was coming out of the ocean, very much like what we're coming out of now with the vaccines for the coronavirus. And so there is this process of creation. So here we are. There are 3 aspects. The destruction, which is the Shiva energy, Vishnu, which is that stabilizing energy that got the demons and the gods together to bring back and restore, bring back the light. And so right now we're in the Brahma phase. So there's Shiva, Vishnu, and Brahma. So Brahma is the creator. So this is, as Robin was saying, the time of rebirth. And so there's a little story that I can kind of tell. I'm sure it's
we're going to do it. We're going to do that after we do the mantras.
Okay.
So you have to hang on to this. This is a great story about Mother Divine. And also Michael is going to teach you an ego busting exercise to go along with it.
Right. So we would just stay open to the subtle energies, the feminine energies, and see how those can guide you to gracefully move through this period of time. Other things that are happening besides the new moon is Mars is going into Gemini. That can bring a little bit of restlessness and also maybe some agitation or stress in the relationships. Be aware, try to avoid arguments, be cautious and patient with people and situations. Mars is conjunct Sun, and this is also can create a little bit of that restless feeling. Venus is moving into Aries, it just did, and so that brings a lot of creative healing energy. A desire to want to travel for those of you who feel confident, comfortable traveling during this time. The whole thing comes back to what I was talking about last week. This Jupiter moving into Aquarius. It was debilitated in Capricorn, and now it's ready to expand and give hope and opportunities in Aquarius. So that's really the big theme. And so lots of opportunities coming up for you to move forward in your careers and other aspects of your life.
So, just for you to know what kind of astrology that Mike is talking about is Vedic astrology as opposed to Western astrology. Can you explain the difference?
Yeah, so Western astrology is based on where the planets were 2,000 years ago. And if you were to ask an astronomer where the planets are today, that would be called Vedic astrology or sidereal zodiac. Western zodiac is based on the tropical zodiac, so the seasons and things like that. But yeah, we're using the sidereal zodiac, much more accurate in my opinion. I've practiced both Western and Vedic astrology. Just over the years, found it to be much more accurate to predict how the planetary changes are going on. So if you would really like to know how these planetary shifts are affecting your personal chart, you can go to vastucreations.com under services and get a reading, either a yearly reading or 3-year reading, etc., to learn how to utilize the energies of the planets to move gracefully through your life during these different planetary periods.
Michael also does more than just like a yearly or a 3-year. He does even choosing the baby names, which is kind of a different thing, and relocation. Like if you're planning to move and you want to just move from the city you're in, where is best for you to move for the things that you're interested in working on in the next phase of your life?
Even if you're planning to travel somewhere, you can look at different cities and areas that are very supportive for either romance or career or prosperity, and you can go visit these places and see how it really feels before you actually move. So this astrocartography is a very valuable tool.
Even like compatibility. Like if you're starting a business and you have somebody new that you're thinking of working with, you can look at their astrology and know if it's going to be a good match for you, or if you're moving into a new relationship. I know that we did that when my daughter and her now husband were together. We really wanted to see their compatibility chart. I think we were just curious, more so than they were. And it turned out to be great, but it's just an interesting thing to add to what you already feel and know. We're here on that level to support you in your movement forward.
And the interesting thing about Vedic astrology, like Vastu, we don't just tell you, oh, this is, could be a challenge for you, this could be an issue, or this is a very critical time for your growth. We give you the remedies to move more gracefully through those periods, the tools.
Yeah.
And so, I think that's a really big difference between Western and Vedic astrology.
I think that really helped me because I used to get readings from Western astrologers, and I would be so depressed afterwards. And I hate to say it, I have a lot of friends who are Western astrologers, but I noticed that it was just feeling like, oh my God, this next year looks like awful for me. But what I like about this is that the remedies are really sweet and not so difficult to do. And they actually do make a difference. I noticed that as well. Especially if you're heading into a really rough time and then you realize, okay, so this is going to be rough, but if I do these certain remedies, it's going to smooth out my path. And what I like is that they're very heart-centered things that you end up doing, which is wonderful. So now we're going to move into activating the altar. And the reason I'm doing this, we already did this last week, but there's some people that haven't done this before. So I'm going to explain. I don't think I need to. Okay, we're doing this. Okay. And then there are also people who have actually asked for us to redo it. What I will say is that somebody actually requested the layout for this, and it is for this altar, which is an abundance altar. Oh, what I really like. I still have that right in my face. the abundance altar is the same layout as the full moon altar for abundance in all things that we do monthly. The difference is the full moon altar, it's okay, I guess I'm used to it. The full moon altar is, you can put that in the middle of a room or something. It's not directionally placed, but a directional altar like like a regular abundance altar is in a northern area of a room or in the north area of a house. And no, in the hole. Okay. Anyway, what I will say is that the color scheme for an abundance altar are golds and greens. So you should have that represented somewhere on the altar. You don't need to get obsessed and have everything gold and green. And you know, we use this not only for abundance of financial needs, but also for an abundance of love. It's really just all abundance, I would think, that we are looking for in our lives. I'm using the goddess Lakshmi, which is also this beautiful picture painted by our friend Scott Haig. Lakshmi is the goddess of abundance, prosperity, beauty, success, fertility. So if you have new things that you're working on, Lakshmi is a wonderful energy to have on your altar. I also have a little statue of Saraswati. This is a time of heightened feminine creativity, expressing ourselves in the creative arts. It's a great time to take up some artistic pursuit like chanting or art, poetry, writing. The energy is very powerful on the planet to support those things. So I'm going to go around the altar and talk about the different elements. We call this our personal symbol. It is placed in back of the offering tray. The offering tray is the space element. It's where you place your hopes and desires. You can also add items to the offering tray to energize, as well as yantras, which is, we have this abundance yantra, which is actually on special this month, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that a little later. We also have the EMF pendant, which we're going to also talk about later. And I also put in a sandalwood mala. Malas are great for doing what is called japa. Japa is a way of counting mantras. When you're doing a repetition of mantras, 108, and we do 108, it's a very high vibration, and the mantra bead necklace adds up to 108, except for the Guru bead, which is the one at the very, very end that ties it all together. So some people do a repetition of 108. There are people that, and I've done this, and Michael has done this, we do 10 108s, which is a lot, especially if you have a long mantra. I also have on the altar an Om symbol. We also carry these little Om symbols. I like it on the altar. We also have one on our front door, and that just allows for that peaceful vibration to enter the house along with you. And then I have a keystone. Michael makes these. They're made out of the highest crystal content quartz with a very powerful symbol for protection on it. So this is the offering tray. Those are just a few little things that we've added to it. We start with the air element. The air element is, it can be a feather, or this is a peacock feather. I thought the colors were kind of perfect for this altar. Or incense. It could also be a candle that has a scent, or not, maybe not a candle, a feather, and then this, wind chimes. We have some standing wind chimes we sometimes use on our altar. And the air element is like the beginning of creation. Actually, it starts, this is like a three-dimensional spiral. It starts in the space. It's almost like the energy of creation begins in the space and it moves into the air. And the air is the subtle thought of something that you want to bring into fruition. And then it moves into the water element. The water is that time of gestation where we hold our thought in a very sacred way. Almost like this is like a birthing. We're birthing our thoughts and our dreams and our hopes. And then we move it into the fire element. Here we're using a candle. You can also use one of those electric candles, little battery operated candles. Some people even put one of those Himalayan salt lamps in the fire element area. And that brings you this spark of passion that is needed to ignite something, to bring it into the grounding element of earth, to bring it into physical form, and then it goes back into space. So everything comes from and returns to space, even the physical body. So that is the elements, and now we're going to do the activation ceremony. Michael is going to do it. What I've done is I have written my desire out on a piece of paper, kind of like an affirmation. And I wrote, I am aligned with Divine Mother and serving the greater good. All my needs are met and abundance flows to me with ease. And then inside I put the three feelings, three words that how it would feel to have what this means to me. And I wrote fulfillment, joy, and flow. And so this is my little offering to go in the offering tray, but we're going to do the ceremony and then I'll place it back in the offering tray.
So just close your eyes and take.
Before we start, let me just say one thing. This is this is our community altar. So this, when we're activating it for all of us. Those of you who have an abundance altar can do the ceremony along with us. But if you don't, and you don't even have your intention written down, it's fine. Just feel what it is that you desire in your life. Abundance, Lakshmi takes care of all of our needs. And so it's just a blessing to go through this ceremony with us. Next week, if you so choose, on our blog, we'll have more information about how you set it up, just the diagram. But if you have our first book, Altars of Power and Grace, it shows all of the different altars and how to set things up and the things that go on the altar so that you don't have to remember all of this.
Okay, let's just sit comfortably, close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and let all the cares of the day go. Now, just mentally, you can take a piece of paper and you can either use the paper that Robin suggested, or you can just mentally say to yourself on this piece of paper, I am grateful for harmony in my relationships, for the growth of my career, my life purpose, for my abundance, and for my health, my good health, or me and my family's good health. You take that piece of paper and bring it to your heart and feel in your body what all those things would feel like in your body. Feel that sense of gratitude, joy, and fulfillment in every particle of your being. All those things are already happening. Bring a big smile to your face, and then mentally you can just take that piece of paper and put it in the space element, the center of the altar. And then we're going to ignite the altar with Gomukhi Mudra, the mudra of intention. So we use the thumb to hold the two middle fingers into your hand and the pointer finger and the baby finger are sticking out. And so 9 times we're going to point at that space element, the center of the altar, and chant the mantra Om Gang Ganapatiye Namaha. So we'll do it together. Om Gang Ganapatiye Namaha. 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 It's a big smile. You can open your eyes. Take another deep breath in first, and then hold it, and then as you breathe out, just surrender all those intentions to the divine. It's in divine time to manifest those desires.
The wonderful thing about altars is, and I think maybe one of the most wonderful thing and the most challenging thing for most people, is to let things go. Once the altar is activated, it is like creating an energy vortex that comes into the space element, and you're like tuning in to a certain channel, a divine channel that supports the success of your endeavors and your desires. Your job is to step back and allow it to happen. And I will say that those people who pick up subtle energies and feel subtle things see things beginning to occur in their life. And I'm sure some of you have felt that. I know one woman who's done our full moon ceremonies for quite a while, Cassandra, I guess she lives here in the US. She said 3 days after her full moon, or the full moon altar ceremony, out of absolutely nowhere, she received $11,000. She couldn't account it for anything but for the work that she had done, assembling and igniting her full moon altar. These things are very powerful, but if you are trying to manipulate what it is that you want, wanting things to happen quicker, feeling that level of impatience, it ends up kind of negating your connection. It's all about trust and surrender. It doesn't have to be perfect when you begin it. You just have to know that it will be perfect for you when you receive it. So that's really what these altars are. They are the universe in perfect order. You're turning your altar into the exact signal that will connect you to the support from nature that you do need to create and manifest what you need, beyond your wants, but you truly need to have the things that you're desiring. So now that we've done that, we're going to do some chanting. We're going to do 3 chants together. The first one is the long, slow Om Namah Shivaya, and we're going to do that 3 times through. So those of you that would like to sing along with me or chant along with me, please do so. And those of you who are a little intimidated, aren't feeling that you know the words, it doesn't matter. What matters is just to experience this and give it a try. And sooner or later, it's going to feel very normal to you. And you don't have to be a perfect singer. That's not the goal of this. The goal is to let those vibrations heal your physiology and vibrate out into the subtle energies that surround you. This long, slow Om Namah Shivaya moves the energy up in the body through the chakras, and it just opens you up to the divine energy that you really can tap into, and this is one of the ways to do that. It's kind of like a sound meditation. So we like to do these these mantras with our eyes closed. And so we'll do this long, slow Om Namah Shivaya, and then I'm going to do the Mrityunjaya just one time through. And Mrityunjaya is for health and healing. It is a tongue twister. I have actually put it out on our blog some time ago, so if you want to access that, you can. And this is a very powerful mantra. It can be played in somebody's room if they're recovering from illness. It can be played in your kitchen, and that vibration can be infused in your food. You can play it on autoplay on an old phone, iPhone, or iPod,
or your computer.
Yeah. And the last one we're going to do is Lakshmi, and that is to celebrate the divine feminine energy and our abundant nature. So it's good to just keep your eyes closed during these 3 chants and just feel the energy as it moves through your body. It's very powerful. Triambakam yajamahe Sugandhim pushtivartanam Urvarudamiva vantana Mrukyor mukshiyamamrutat Om Shrim Klim Lakshmi Narayana Namaha Om Shrim Klim Lakshmi Narayana Namaha Om Shrim Klim Lakshmi Narayana Namaha. You can slowly open your eyes. Hope that was good for everyone.
So it's a good time to tell the story about Mother Divine during Navaratri, the 9 days of Mother Divine. So there's a story in the Vedas about how the forces of nature were all closing in on Mother Divine. And she simply closed her eyes and made this sound. She made it 3 times. And the sound is made with awareness around your gut. And this is a very powerful sound. It is said to break the ego. So if you are about to get on a Zoom call that's very important and you're nervous for some reason, before you get on the call, you can just close your eyes and just 3 times make that sound. And in the olden days, before we get up and give a lecture in front of a lot of people, we would go to the bathroom and do it, or some place like that. Well, only if you're nervous. But it really gets rid of all the stress in the mind, and the body kind of shakes it off so that you can perform optimally in whatever endeavor you have. So very powerful thing to do.
I remember doing this a couple of different times. I remember in a boardroom setting, I think we were doing some sort of a presentation about Vastu corporately, and I was a little scared, anxious, tongue-tied, and feeling like I was really doubting myself. And I know that I did it into a Kleenex. Mm-hmm. It almost sounds like you're sneezing. And then another time, I think I was introducing the guru, our guru, Sri Ravi Shankar, up in Seattle at Mini Hall, and I think there was like 800 people in the audience, and that's a lot of people. And I remember doing it there as well. So any kind of situation that you're in where you feel is a little confrontive, that sound is made kind of in the back of the throat. Yeah.
But you have your awareness in your belly, in your gut area.
And it's a very powerful sound, and it really does clear the energy in your room or in the room as well as in your mind, which is wonderful. So I wanted to let you guys know when the next full moon altar is coming up. It's actually a pink moon, and it is, I believe it is going to be on the 26th of April. It's opposite the sun, and it's all about unconditional love and understanding. It's the first super moon of the year, and it will be visible after sunset and peak at around 8:33 p.m. here on the west coast of California. And it's going to appear to be full for several days, from Sunday to Wednesday. We are actually going to ignite our full moon altar on the Friday before, which is, I think, what is that date? I don't know if I have it on there. On the 23rd, maybe, or the 22nd. Anyway, it's that Friday before the full moon. We'll have our full moon altar ceremony at 11 a.m. and we'll be sending out information about that in our newsletter and posting it on Instagram and Facebook. And we're going to do it early because we're going to be traveling starting that Sunday. And I know me. I think I'm all really kind of handling everything, and I got everything packed and ready to go, and then I kind of go into a little bit of an overwhelm leaving home, especially now. We've been in COVID lockdown for so long. So this is, we're going to be traveling, and we'll be out of town for the next 2 Mantra Mondays, which are on the full moon on the 26th and on the 3rd, and we'll resume again Mantra Mondays starting May 10th. But we'll be here next week, I guess. Mm-hmm. Is it the week? And then we'll be doing our full moon. I don't know what is today. What is today?
It's the 12th.
The 12th. So we're definitely here one more Mantra Monday, and then we'll be doing the full moon ceremony as well. So we're not going to leave you without that. Also, we've got Mantra Mondays now on YouTube for anybody. If you want to share this with your friends, you can just tell them to go over to YouTube. It'll also be posted on Facebook and Instagram for those people who are on those two platforms. Then we have a special coming up. This was supposed to launch last week, but last week was a crazy week for me. It launched and then we took it down. So we're going to be placing it back up again in the next day or so, maybe even a day. So stay tuned. Just watch Facebook and Instagram because that's where we'll be posting this. This is the USB plug. And what this is an EMF USB protection plug. And you can use it for your house like this, using it in an outlet like this plug, and also you can use it in your car. So what this does is protect you from the EMFs, the 5G, the 4G, all the EMFs that are like all our cars right now are computerized. So if you're having trouble sitting in front of a computer for an hour, imagine what this is going to be like when you're like traveling and you're sitting in a car for hours and hours. This is the kind of thing that protects you so that you don't feel fatigued. It will also clear you of the EMFs in the environment. And actually, this little pendant is what clears you of the EMFs around your body. So this is 20% off. This is going to be 25 to 33% off depending on how many you use or buy, pardon me. And so we have those two things. And then this yantra, the abundance yantra, or is this Ganesh? This is removal of obstacles and protection yantra. This is the one we're using this week or this month. And this is the Ganesh yantra, is also 20% off. So for the pendant and the yantra, the code is rebirth. All of this is in our newsletter and also on the blog. So those, I think, are everything that I know in this moment. Please send pictures of your abundance altars and spread the word, and we will see you